The morning on Zephora was calm and bright, the twin suns casting golden and violet light across the palace gardens. Princess Lucera stood at the highest balcony of the palace, overlooking the crystal forest that stretched as far as the eye could see. Her violet eyes sparkled with determination and clarity. She felt strong, not just in body but in spirit. The events of the past weeks had transformed her. The illness that had once drained her life seemed a distant memory. The energy she had learned to control flowed steadily through her, harmonizing with the rhythms of her planet. But it was not the energy alone that made her strong. It was the courage, trust, and wisdom she had gained along the way. Ethan joined her quietly, his presence calm and steady as always. "The palace looks peaceful," he said softly, "but you know it will not always remain so. Other kingdoms may test us, and our people may face challenges we cannot yet see." Lucera nodded. "I know, but I am ready. Not only because I have learned to control my energy, but because I understand what it means to lead with courage and wisdom, and I will not face the future alone." Ethan smiled. "And I will be here to support you as always." The palace bells rang suddenly, a clear, urgent sound echoing through the halls. Guards hurried past, their movements precise and disciplined. Lucera and Ethan exchanged a quick glance. Something was happening. A council member approached, breathless. "Princess Lucera, scouts report that a fleet from a neighboring system has entered Zephora's orbit. They are unannounced and their intentions are unknown. They may be seeking alliance or they may test our defenses." Lucera's heart did not race with fear. Instead, she felt a steady resolve. "Then we must meet them wisely," she said firmly. "We will show them that Zephora is strong, united, and led with strength and intelligence." Ethan placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You are ready for this, Princess. Your energy, your courage, and your wisdom will guide not only yourself but all of Zephora." The palace prepared carefully. Soldiers readied defensive systems, diplomats prepared messages, and scouts monitored the approaching fleet. Lucera, dressed in her ceremonial robes, stood before her council and advisors. Her energy radiated calm and confidence, inspiring those around her. "People of Zephora," she said, her voice steady and clear, "we face unknown challenges today, but we face them together. Our strength comes not only from our technology or our weapons, but from our courage, our unity, and the bonds we form with others. Let us greet these visitors with both wisdom and strength." When the fleet arrived in orbit, it did not attack. Instead, they hovered silently, their ship sleek and unfamiliar. Lucera, accompanied by Ethan and a small diplomatic team, boarded a smaller craft to meet them. The humans and aliens traveled together, their calm presence sending a signal of peace. On the lead ship, Lucera stepped forward. The alien representatives regarded her cautiously, but curiosity and respect were evident in their eyes. She held herself with confidence, her energy radiating calm and assurance. "I am Princess Lucera of Zephora," she said. "We welcome you to our planet. Let us discuss your intentions and find a way to cooperate for the benefit of all our peoples." One of the aliens, taller and more angular than any Zephoran, inclined its head. "Princess Lucera, your presence and energy are remarkable. We have observed your planet and your leadership. You demonstrate strength, wisdom, and courage uncommon in one so young. We come in peace, seeking understanding and alliance." Lucera smiled faintly. "Then we shall share knowledge and friendship, and strengthen the bonds between our worlds." Ethan watched quietly, proud of the princess. Her calmness and clarity impressed even the visitors, and he knew that her growth was more than physical. It was the growth of a true leader. Back on Zephora, the people celebrated. News spread of the princess's full recovery, her control over her energy, and her courage in facing the unknown. Citizens came to the palace offering gratitude and admiration. The once fragile princess had become a symbol of hope, resilience, and wisdom. In her private chamber, Lucera sat with Ethan, reflecting on the journey. "I never imagined I would feel this strong," she said softly. "Not just physically, but in every way that matters. I can face danger, make decisions, and inspire others. And I could not have done it without your guidance." Ethan shook his head gently. "You did this yourself, Princess. I only helped you find the strength that was already inside you. Humans may have curiosity and resilience, but true courage comes from within. You have shown both and more." Lucera reached out and touched his hand, the gesture simple but meaningful. "Then let us continue together. Not because I need you, but because together we can help Zephora reach its full potential." As days passed, Lysera continued to grow as a leader. She learned not only to use her energy for herself, but also to teach others how to harmonize with the planet safely. Soldiers, healers, and citizens alike benefited from her guidance. She became a living example of how strength, trust, and wisdom could transform not only an individual, but an entire society. Ethan remained at her side, sharing knowledge of humans' technology and exploration. Zephora and Earth began to establish friendly communication, exchanging ideas and learning from one another. The princess's experience had opened the door to a new era of cooperation, understanding, and mutual respect between species. One evening, Lysera walked through the palace gardens alone. The air was fragrant with alien flowers, and the twin moons cast gentle light over the crystal paths. She paused, closing her eyes and focusing on the energy she had learned to control. It flowed steadily, harmoniously, connecting her to Zephora, to her people, and to the universe itself. Ethan joined her silently, as he always did. "You have changed the fate of your people," he said softly. "Not through power alone, but through wisdom, courage, and the willingness to trust." Lysera smiled, feeling warmth in her chest. "And you have shown me the value of friendship, patience, and understanding. Together we have done more than heal me. We have strengthened our kingdom, built trust with others, and shown what is possible when different worlds work together." Ethan nodded. "Yes, and this is only the beginning. Zephora is strong, and so are you, Princess. The future holds many challenges, but I have no doubt that you will face them with courage and wisdom." As the stars twinkled above, Lysera felt a sense of peace and purpose she had never known. Her journey from illness to strength, from fear to confidence, had taught her lessons she would carry for the rest of her life. She was no longer fragile, no longer uncertain. She was a leader, a protector, and a symbol of hope for all who looked to her. That night she stood on the balcony once more, watching the twin moons rise. She thought of her people, of the humans who had helped her, and of the future that awaited them all. The energy within her flowed smoothly, steady and strong, a reflection of the balance she had found within herself. "Tomorrow," she whispered softly, "we will continue to grow, to learn, and to protect what we hold dear. And we will do it together." Ethan stood quietly beside her, his hand resting lightly on the balcony rail. "Together," he said. The palace was quiet, the night calm and serene. Across Zephora, the citizens slept peacefully, knowing their princess was strong, wise, and prepared to lead them through whatever challenges lay ahead. Lysera took a deep breath, feeling the energy of her planet, the warmth of trust, and the courage within her heart. She smiled, knowing that she had faced illness, danger, and uncertainty, and had emerged stronger, wiser, and ready to guide her people into a bright and hopeful future. And as the twin moons glimmered in the violet sky, she knew this truth with certainty. The human who had touched her life had not only healed her body, but had awakened her spirit. Together they had proven that courage, wisdom, and trust could overcome any challenge, and that the bonds between worlds could create hope stronger than any obstacle. Zephora had a bright future ahead, and Princess Lysera, once fragile and uncertain, would lead her people with strength, compassion, and unwavering courage. The days that followed were filled with steady progress. Princess Lysera moved with growing confidence, and her energy, once fragile and unpredictable, now flowed with a gentle strength. Ethan guided her patiently, teaching her not only to control her own energy but also to sense the subtle rhythms of Zephora itself. One morning, as the twin suns rose high and painted the skies in golden and violet hues, Ethan led Lysera to a hidden chamber within the palace. It was circular, lined with smooth crystal walls that reflected light in soft, shimmering patterns. This was a place where the natural energy of Zephora could be concentrated and studied safely. "Princess," Ethan said, "today we will try something new. You've learned to control your energy within yourself. Now we will practice expanding it, guiding it outward in a controlled way. It is an important skill for someone who will lead a kingdom." Lysera nodded, feeling the excitement pulse within her. "I am ready." Ethan held her hand gently, his presence calm and reassuring. "Focus on the warmth between us and imagine it flowing through you into the room. Let it fill the space but remain in control. You are not releasing power blindly. You are guiding it." She closed her eyes and concentrated. At first, the energy moved hesitantly, flickering like a small flame. But gradually it grew steadier, spreading through her arms and into the room. Light shimmered across the crystals as the energy touched them, creating patterns that danced and glowed. "It is beautiful," Lysera whispered. "I can see it." "Feel it," Ethan smiled. "And that is only the beginning. With practice, you will be able to focus it even more precisely, using it to heal, to protect, and to inspire others." For hours, they worked together, carefully refining her control. Lysera felt stronger with every passing moment, her confidence growing alongside her skill. She had learned to trust herself, and to trust the human who had become her guide. Yet even as her mastery increased, subtle threats lingered. The council continued to watch with cautious curiosity, some openly admiring her progress, others whispering doubts about the human influence. Rumors began to spread outside the palace walls. News of the princess's miraculous recovery and her growing powers reached neighboring kingdoms, some of which were filled with admiration and others with envy. One evening, as Lysera and Ethan walked through the palace gardens, Terran approached them hurriedly. "Princess Lysera," he said, voice low, "there are reports that some neighboring leaders are questioning the stability of Zephora. They are concerned about your sudden recovery, and about the human who has aided you." Lysera's violet eyes narrowed. "And what do they intend to do?" Terran shook his head. "It is unclear, but some fear that our enemies may try to exploit any weakness, any opportunity they see. They may test our kingdom, or even attempt to capture you." Lysera took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of energy she had cultivated flowing through her body. "Then we must be prepared," she said firmly, "not only to protect ourselves but to show them the strength of Zephora, and of the bonds we can form with others." Ethan placed a hand gently on her shoulder. "Exactly, Princess. True strength comes not just from power, but from courage, wisdom, and trust, and you have all three." Over the next few days, Ethan guided Lysera through exercises designed to integrate her energy with her natural surroundings. She learned to sense the subtle shifts in the air, to feel the hum of the crystal walls, and even to anticipate the movements of those around her. Each session deepened her understanding, teaching her not only control but awareness, strategy, and patience. One afternoon, while practicing in the crystal chamber, Ethan noticed a pattern in Lysera's energy readings. "Princess," he said, pointing to the glowing traces on the walls, "your energy is harmonizing with Zephora in ways I did not expect. It is as though the planet itself responds to your focus and intention." "This is remarkable," Lysera's eyes widened. "Does that mean I am becoming stronger?" "Yes," Ethan replied softly. "But strength is more than raw power. It is the ability to guide it wisely, to use it for protection and healing. You are learning not just to command energy, but to be a leader who inspires others through your actions." The realization filled Lysera with pride and determination. She had feared weakness, illness, and dependence, but now she understood that true strength came from within, and from the willingness to trust and work with others. As her skills grew, so did her confidence in the world beyond the palace walls. She began taking short walks through the gardens alone, using her energy to maintain balance and harmony, practicing focus in real-life situations. The human by her side, Ethan provided guidance but allowed her the independence she needed to grow. However, not all moments were peaceful. One evening, as the twin suns set and painted the skies with rich violet hues, an urgent message arrived. Scouts reported unusual activity near the borders of Zephora. Unidentified ships approaching from a distant system, moving quickly and silently. The council convened immediately, and Lysera attended despite her usual preference for calm reflection. Her energy flowed through her steady and strong, giving her courage even in the face of uncertainty. "Princess Lysera," Varin said formally, "these ships may pose a threat. They are unknown, and we do not yet understand their intentions. You must remain cautious." Lysera nodded, her eyes steady. "I understand, but I will not hide from what comes. We must be prepared, and we must face this together. My people are allies and those who have helped me find my strength." Ethan stood beside her. "And you will not face it alone, Princess. Together we can meet any challenge." The next morning, scouts confirmed that the approaching ships were observing the planet, but had not engaged. Their technology was advanced, their movements precise, but they had not attacked. Lysera realized that these unknown visitors might be testing Zephora, assessing its strength or perhaps seeking allies. "This is a test," she said quietly to Ethan. "We must show them that Zyphora is strong."
"United and guided by wisdom, not fear," Ethan nodded.
"And with your control of energy, Princess, you are more prepared than ever to lead your people through it." In the following days, Lysera focused on strengthening not only herself, but also the morale of her people. She visited palace halls, interacted with council members, and oversaw exercises designed to improve the readiness of Zyphora's defenders. Her energy radiated calm and confidence, inspiring others to trust in their leader's strength. One evening after a long day, Lysera returned to her chamber. She felt tired, but her body was steady and strong. She sat by the window, gazing at the twin suns dipping below the horizon, casting long shadows over the crystal gardens. Ethan joined her, sitting quietly beside her. "You have come a long way, Princess," he said softly. "Not just in healing, but in understanding your own power and responsibility." Lysera smiled faintly. "I never imagined I could feel this. Capable, strong, not just for myself, but for others. For my people. I owe so much to you." Ethan shook his head. "You owe nothing to me. The strength was always within you. I only helped you see it." Lysera's gaze turned to the horizon. "Still, your guidance changed everything. You showed me that healing is not just about the body. It is about courage, trust, and wisdom, and that is more important than any energy or strength I could ever have." Ethan reached out, holding her hand gently. "And you have shown me something too, Princess. That humans and aliens can work together, learn from each other, and inspire one another. That even across stars, bonds can be formed that create hope and strength for all." Lysera felt a warmth spread through her chest, different from the energy she controlled. It was a quiet, steady feeling of friendship, trust, and mutual respect. She realized that strength did not exist alone. It grew when shared, nurtured, and guided. As night fell over Zyphora, Lysera lay in her bed, the twin moons rising in the violet sky. She felt her energy steady, her body strong, and her mind clear. The lessons she had learned in recent days, control, courage, trust, and awareness, would guide her through whatever challenges lay ahead. And deep within her heart, she knew that the future would demand more of her than she had ever faced before. But she was ready. With Ethan by her side, with the strength she had discovered within herself, and with the support of her people, Lysera felt prepared to meet any trial. The palace was quiet, the stars above twinkling like distant diamonds. Lysera drifted into sleep, her energy calm and steady, her mind filled with hope and determination. Tomorrow she would face new challenges, continue her training, and guide her people. And she would do so with courage, wisdom, and the knowledge that even in the darkest times, strength could be found and shared. The morning light of Zyphora streamed through the high windows of the royal palace, reflecting off the crystal walls and painting the corridors in soft shades of violet and gold. Lysera had begun to move more confidently, walking across her chamber without the weakness that had plagued her for weeks. Her steps were still careful, but there was determination in them now, a spark that had been missing. Ethan stood nearby, observing her with a gentle smile. "Today, Princess," he said, "we will focus on understanding your energy. You've grown stronger, but now we need to learn how to control it." Lysera nodded. She had begun to notice the strange connection between her body and the energy of Zyphora itself. It was as if the planet itself flowed within her, reacting to the warmth and guidance of the human beside her. "I trust you," she said softly. "Show me what to do." Ethan knelt beside her and placed a hand lightly on her shoulder. "Close your eyes. Focus on the warmth between us. Imagine it spreading through every part of your body. Don't rush, let it flow naturally." Lysera did as he instructed. At first she felt only a faint tingling, but slowly the warmth grew stronger. Her heartbeat steadied, her breathing evened out, and a light energy pulsed through her veins. It was both strange and comforting, a feeling she could not explain. "You're doing well," Ethan said. "Now try to guide that energy yourself. Focus it where you feel it is needed most." The princess concentrated. She felt the energy move from her chest into her arms, then into her legs, spreading through her entire body. It was a strange sensation, like a gentle wave washing over her, steady and supportive. She could sense the connection between herself and the planet, the flow of life that surrounded her. "It is amazing," she whispered. "I can feel it, and I can control it." Ethan nodded, his eyes shining with admiration. "Exactly. This is your power, Princess. You have been given a rare gift, but you must be careful. The energy is strong and it must be used wisely. Lysera felt a rush of excitement. For the first time, she did not see herself as weak or fragile. She felt capable, strong, and ready to face challenges she had once feared. Yet the peace in the palace was not complete. Outside the royal chambers, whispers and rumors had begun to spread among the council and the royal guards. Some were amazed at the princess's rapid recovery. Others were uneasy, questioning whether a human should have such influence over their heir. One council member, a tall and serious alien named Vorin, approached the chamber with a frown. "Princess Lysera," he said formally, "your recovery is remarkable. But we cannot ignore the presence of the human. There are those who say his methods are unusual, and that your health depends on him in ways we do not understand." Lysera looked at him calmly. "I understand your concern, Vorin, but I trust Ethan. He has not harmed me. He has helped me discover strength I did not know I had. That is all I can ask." Vorin hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Very well, Princess. But be cautious. The balance of power in Zyphra is delicate. There are those who may see this as an opportunity to act against you." Lysera's violet eyes widened slightly, but she did not speak. She understood the warning. Danger had always been part of her life as a princess, but now it felt closer than ever. Later that day, Ethan and Lysera walked through the palace gardens, a hidden path lined with tall crystal trees and glowing flowers. The air was fragrant, filled with the soft hum of alien insects and the distant sound of waterfalls. "Princess," Ethan said, "you must understand that your energy is not only strong, but also visible to others who know how to sense it. This makes you both powerful and vulnerable." Lysera frowned. "Vulnerable how?" "Those who can sense energy may try to influence it or even harm you," Ethan explained. "Right now, you are learning to control it. But you must remain careful. Not everyone in the palace wishes to see you strong." The princess thought for a moment. "Then I must learn quickly. I cannot allow anyone to take advantage of me or my people." Ethan placed a reassuring hand on her arm. "And you will not have to do it alone. I will be here to guide you." Their training continued for several days, each session strengthening Lysera's body and mind. She grew more confident in her movements, more precise in her control of energy, and more aware of her surroundings. Even small tasks like lifting objects or walking longer distances became opportunities to practice focus and discipline. One afternoon, a disturbance in the palace drew their attention. Alarms rang out, echoing through the corridors. Guards ran past, their crystal armor clinking with urgency. Ethan's expression became serious. "Princess," he said, "stay here." "I will investigate," but Lysera shook her head. "No, I must learn to face challenges, not hide from them. If danger comes, I must be ready." Ethan studied her, a mixture of concern and pride in his eyes. "Very well. But stay close to me." Together they followed the guards to the source of the disturbance, a group of intruders attempting to access the palace's energy chambers. These chambers were sacred, holding the power of Zyphra itself. If the intruders succeeded, they could cause chaos across the planet. Lysera felt her heart race, but she focused on the energy she had learned to control. Ethan stayed by her side, guiding her movements and offering calm instruction. "Princess," he whispered, "use your energy to block them. Focus on the warmth and flow we practiced." Lysera closed her eyes, summoning the energy within her. A wave of light expanded from her hands, pushing the intruders back. The guards moved quickly to restrain them, but the display of power left everyone in awe. When the intruders were captured, the council members arrived, their faces a mix of astonishment and concern. "Princess Lysera," Vorin said, "your control, it is remarkable. But we must understand how this is possible." Lysera stood tall, her violet eyes steady. "It is possible because I have learned to trust, to focus, and to use the strength within me. And because I have help from someone I trust." She looked at Ethan, who nodded silently, a small smile on his face. The council murmured among themselves, some still uneasy, others quietly impressed. Lysera realized that her role as a princess was changing. She was no longer just a figurehead or a symbol. She was a leader capable of action, courage, and strength that even humans admired. That evening, as the twin suns set and the skies deepened into violet and gold, Lysera returned to her chamber. She felt tired but not weak. Her energy flowed smoothly, steady and strong. She looked at Ethan, gratitude shining in her eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. "Not just for today, but for everything. You have given me more than healing. You have given me confidence, courage, hope." Ethan smiled softly. "It was always inside you, Princess. I only helped you find it." As night fell, the stars of Zephora twinkled above, distant and brilliant. Lysera lay in her bed, feeling the warmth of her own energy and the presence of the human who had changed her life. She knew that the journey ahead would be filled with challenges, tests of courage, and moments that would demand all her strength. But she also knew that she was ready. With Ethan by her side, she could face anything, control her energy, and protect her people. And somewhere deep inside, Lysera felt a new truth that even across the stars, humans and aliens could form bonds stronger than fear, suspicion, or illness, that together they could create something extraordinary. The first weeks of her recovery had been miraculous. The dangers she faced had tested her in ways she never expected. And Lysera knew with certainty that the days ahead would bring even greater challenges, but also even greater opportunities to grow, to lead, and to inspire. For the first time in her life, she felt truly ready to embrace the future, and she would do so, not alone, but hand in hand with the human who had touched her life and changed it forever. The morning sun rose slowly over the palace of Zephora, painting the violet skies with streaks of gold and pink. Inside the princess's chamber, Lysera stirred, her body lighter than it had felt in weeks. For the first time, she did not wake with the ache that had weighed her down for so long. She opened her eyes to see Ethan sitting nearby, a small smile on his face. "Good morning, Princess," he said gently. "How do you feel?" Lysera blinked and stretched her fingers. "Better. I think I feel alive again." Her voice, though soft, carried an energy that had been missing for weeks. "It is strange. I never imagined I could feel this way after so long." Ethan's smile widened. "It is not strange. Your body is responding to what we are doing. Slowly, but it is working. Your strength is returning." Taryn, the princess's aide, peeked into the room and gasped. "Princess, you are truly awake. Your face, your color, it is different. You are improving." Lysera smiled faintly at Taryn. "I am trying," she whispered. Her violet eyes shifted to Ethan. I could not have done this without you." Ethan shook his head. "You have done it yourself, Princess. I am just helping guide you. The real strength comes from you." Over the next few days, Ethan continued his work. He did not rush the princess, nor did he demand more than she could give. Together, they practiced gentle exercises to restore her energy, focusing on her breathing, slow movements, and calm concentration. Each session was accompanied by soft conversation, which helped Lysera relax. She learned about Earth, about humans, and about their curious ways of thinking. Ethan told stories of explorers who had sailed across oceans, of humans who had climbed mountains taller than any on Zephora, and of people who had built machines that could fly across the skies. Lysera listened, fascinated. These stories were far removed from her palace walls, yet they made her heart feel lighter. One afternoon, as the twin suns glimmered through the crystal windows, Lysera sat on the edge of her bed. Ethan knelt beside her, holding her hand gently. "Princess," he said, "today I want to try something different. I want you to focus on the warmth between us. Let it flow through your body. Don't think of it as a cure, but as energy. Your body can use it to strengthen itself." Lysera nodded slowly, unsure but willing. She closed her eyes and concentrated on the soft warmth emanating from Ethan's hand. At first she felt nothing. Then gradually, a gentle tingling spread from her fingers up her arms, down her chest, and into her legs. Her heart felt steadier, her breaths longer and easier. "It is working," she whispered, astonished. "I can feel it." Ethan smiled softly. "Yes, Princess. Your body knows what to do. It just needed the right guide." As days passed, her improvement became undeniable. The pale color that had haunted her face gradually faded, replaced by the faint violet glow that marked the health of Zephoran nobility. Her movements became stronger, more confident, and even her laughter returned, light and musical. But not everyone in the palace was pleased. Some council members continued to watch with suspicion. They whispered among themselves, saying that humans were dangerous, unpredictable, and perhaps too powerful for Zephora to trust. "We should end this now," one council member said quietly. "The princess is improving, yes, but we cannot allow a human to influence her fully." "What if he has other motives?" Another shook his head. She is alive because of him. Can we truly stop this without harming her? We must be careful. Perhaps it is better to watch for now. Meanwhile, Lysera continued to spend time with Ethan, their bond growing stronger with every passing day. She shared stories of her childhood, the lessons her parents had taught her, and the dreams she had for her people. Ethan listened patiently, never interrupting, always encouraging. One evening, after a long day of exercises, Lysera looked out of her window at the violet forests below. "Ethan," she said softly, "I never thought I would see the world again. I thought this illness would keep me trapped in this room forever." Ethan placed a hand gently on her shoulder. "You are free now, Princess. You have the strength inside you. I am just here to help you see it." Lysera smiled, feeling a warmth in her chest that had nothing to do with her physical healing. For the first time, she realized that strength was not only in the body, but in trust, courage, and hope. However, as her body grew stronger, new challenges began to emerge. Strange readings appeared in the palace sensors, ripples of energy that no one had seen before. The scientists were puzzled. "Princess Lysera's energy is changing in ways we cannot fully understand," one said. "It is unlike anything in our records." Ethan studied the readings carefully. Her energy is stabilizing in a way that interacts with the planet's natural fields. "It is delicate, but it is beautiful. If we are careful, we can help her regulate it fully." Lysera looked at him with curiosity. "What does that mean?" "It means," Ethan explained, "that your body is learning to harmonize with Zyphora itself. It is rare, but humans can sometimes help accelerate this process because our biology interacts differently with energy. That is why you are improving so quickly." Lysera thought about his words. "So, I am not just healing. I am learning to control this energy?" Ethan nodded. "Exactly. And with practice, you may become stronger than you were before, able to use this energy safely and wisely." The realization filled Lysera with a mixture of excitement and caution. She had always wanted to protect her people, to be a wise and capable ruler. Now it seemed her illness had given her an unexpected gift, a new kind of strength, one that no one had anticipated. But the peace of the palace was not to last. One afternoon, while Lysera and Ethan were practicing the energy exercises, alarms suddenly rang throughout the palace. Guards ran past the chamber doors, their footsteps heavy and urgent. "What is happening?" Lysera asked, alarmed. Ethan's expression grew serious. "Something is wrong. Stay here. I will find out." He moved quickly, navigating the crystal hallways with ease while Lysera remained in her chamber, heart pounding. Through the open doorway she could see shadows moving, figures she could not fully recognize. Something had breached the palace. Moments later, Ethan returned, slightly out of breath. "Princess," he said firmly, "we need to move. It is not safe here. Some outsiders have entered the palace. I will protect you." Lysera's fear was immediate, but she also felt a strange surge of courage. She trusted Ethan completely. "Then let us go," she said, standing slowly with his support. Together they navigated secret corridors known only to the royal family. Ethan used his knowledge of the palace layout to avoid detection, moving swiftly but carefully. Lysera held onto his arm, feeling the familiar warmth that had become her anchor. They reached a small, hidden garden, a place of calm within the palace walls. The twin suns cast a golden glow on the flowers and trees, creating a serene haven in the midst of danger. Lysera paused, taking a deep breath. This is beautiful," she whispered. Ethan nodded. "Yes, it is. Even in danger, there is always a place of peace. Remember that, Princess. That is part of your strength, too." As they hid in the garden, Lysera realized something important. The dangers outside the palace could not harm her as long as she remained calm, focused, and trusted those who truly cared for her. Her bond with Ethan had given her more than physical strength. It had given her courage, clarity, and hope. Hours later, the threat passed. Guards returned to their posts, and the intruders were captured or driven away. Lysera and Ethan returned to her chamber, tired but safe. "You see, Princess," Ethan said gently, "sometimes the greatest danger teaches us the greatest lessons. You are stronger than you think, and now you know it." Lysera nodded, feeling the truth of his words deep in her heart. "I will remember. I will not forget." As night fell over Zyphora, Lysera lay in her bed once more. She felt the familiar warmth of Ethan's presence nearby. and a sense of calm washed over her. The twin suns had set, leaving the sky a deep violet sprinkled with stars. For the first time in weeks, she slept without fear, her body and mind slowly recovering together. The first step of her healing had been miraculous. The second had been filled with courage and discovery. And Lysera knew deep within her heart that this was only the beginning. The human who had touched her life had changed not only her body, but her spirit, and she was ready to face whatever the future held, hand in hand with her new ally. The planet Zyphora shone like a jewel in the blackness of space. Its surface glittered with turquoise seas and violet forests, and its skies danced with twin suns that cast long, soft shadows across the royal palace. Inside those walls, a sense of worry and tension hung heavier than the thick crystal chandeliers that lit the halls. The princess of Zyphora, Lysera, lay in her chamber, pale and fragile, her breath shallow and uneven. No medicine, no alien technology, and no healer had been able to restore her strength. The royal court was in turmoil. Ministers and scientists whispered among themselves, their voices full of fear. The princess was not just the heir to the throne. She was the symbol of hope for the entire kingdom. If she died, Zyphora could fall into chaos. Yet despite the fear that surrounded her, Lysera remained calm. She stared out of her large curved window at the twin suns slowly descending, bathing the palace in warm golden light. Her violet eyes, usually so bright and lively, now seemed dim, weighed down by illness. She could hear the whispers outside her door, the hurried steps of attendants, the quiet sobs of her closest aides. But inside her there was a small, stubborn spark. She refused to give up. "Princess Lysera," a soft voice said. One of the royal aides, a small, gentle alien named Terran, knelt beside her bed. "The council is growing impatient. They believe perhaps it is time to consider other options." His voice trailed off. Lysera shook her head weakly. "No," she said, her voice almost a whisper. I will not give up. There must be another way." Just then, the palace doors opened, and a figure stepped into the chamber. He was unlike anyone the palace had ever seen. Ethan, the human explorer, carried himself with quiet confidence. His eyes, a warm brown, scanned the room with curiosity rather than fear. His presence felt strangely calm, almost comforting even in this tense environment. The aliens froze. Humans were rare on Zyphora. Few had ever visited, and even fewer had been trusted inside the palace walls. And yet here was one standing in the chamber of the dying princess, unafraid. "Your Highness," Ethan said gently, bowing slightly. "I have come to offer help." Lysera blinked at him. Her voice was weak, but she managed to ask, "Help? How?" Ethan smiled faintly. "I am not like the healers here. My ways are different. I may be able to restore your energy." The court advisors exchanged anxious glances. "Your Highness," one of them said, his tone sharp, "we cannot allow a human touch the princess. It is too risky. We do not know what might happen." Lysera, for the first time in days, managed a small, determined smile. "I trust him. Let him try." There was silence. The advisors whispered hurriedly, arguing in hushed tones. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the eldest council member spoke. "Very well, but it is your choice, Princess. If you insist, then we shall allow it, but proceed with extreme caution." Lysera nodded, and Ethan stepped closer. He knelt beside her bed, careful not to disturb the fragile sheets that wrapped around her. He reached out a hand, hovering just above hers. "Do not be afraid," he said softly. "I will not harm you." Lysera felt a strange sensation as his hand drew near. Warmth, gentle and steady, seemed to flow from him. She closed her eyes, focusing on the feeling. She allowed herself for the first time in weeks to hope. Ethan's fingers brushed lightly against hers. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then slowly, Lysera felt her heartbeat steadier, her breathing less strained. A warmth spread through her chest, soft and comforting. She opened her eyes and looked at Ethan. "What is this?" she whispered. "I am not certain," Ethan replied. "But your body—" "It responds to human energy differently than I expected. It may take time, but I think I can help you recover." Terran, watching from the side, felt a shiver of awe. "It's as miraculous," he whispered. Other aides crowded at the edge of the room, eyes wide with amazement. For the first time, hope filled the chamber. Lysera managed a small laugh, fragile but genuine. "Perhaps I am not as weak as they think, Ethan smiled. You are stronger than you know, Princess, and I will help you find that strength again. Days passed. Every morning, Ethan would return to Lysera's side. He taught her simple breathing exercises, encouraged her to move her hands and arms gently, and most importantly, he stayed with her. His presence brought comfort, and she found herself laughing quietly at his stories of Earth and human adventures. Slowly, her energy improved, but not everyone in the palace was pleased. Some council members watched with suspicion, their distrust of humans deep. This is unnatural, one whispered to another. A human cannot save a Zephyran princess. What if it is a trick? What if he takes control? Lysera overheard the whispers, but she did not care. For the first time in weeks, she felt alive. She trusted Ethan. She felt something in him that no machine, no alien healer, no potion had ever offered. Understanding, patience, and hope. One evening, as the twin suns set and the room was bathed in soft violet light, Ethan held her hand gently. You've come a long way today, he said. I can feel your strength returning. Lysera smiled. I can feel it too. Strange and but real. Ethan nodded. There is still work to do, but if you continue this way, you may recover fully. You are stronger than any illness, Princess. You just need to believe it. For the first time since her sickness began, Lysera felt a spark of determination ignite within her. She wanted to live not just for herself, but for her people. And somehow, with this human by her side, she believed she could. The palace was quiet that night. The stars above Zyphora glimmered like distant diamonds, and somewhere far away, the twin suns dipped below the horizon, leaving a sky of deep, endless violet. Lysera lay in her bed holding Ethan's hand, feeling the warmth that had become her anchor. For the first time in weeks, she slept peacefully. Outside her window, Terran whispered to himself, eyes shining with hope. Perhaps humans are not so different. Perhaps they can be more than strangers. Perhaps they can be heroes. And so the first day of Lysera's healing passed, small but full of promise. The bond between human and princess was only beginning, but already it was changing the course of her life, and perhaps the fate of Zyphora itself. Little did they know, the days ahead would bring new challenges, tests of courage and dangers that no one had expected. But together the human and the princess were ready to face them, step by step, hand in hand.